she can go up against anything. It doesn't matter what obstacle comes. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people do or don't do. She's a person that you can swing, you can knock her down, but just like Maya Angelou said, still I rise.
Justin is, I like to say, a creative genius. Y'all, the way the wheels turn in his head, the way he creates ideas, the way he comes up with different plans and strategies amazes me.
Why we moved to Atlanta, it was in 2019, that year. I guess it really started before then, you know, where we were living in a place called Lynchburg, Virginia. And if you ever been to Lynchburg, there's nothing there in Lynchburg. We had grown up there, I'd grown up there all my life. And I just kind of got to the place where, you know, we were pastoring a church. We started a church, a storefront ministry there. Called The Anointed Place, and we had an amazing time. I started my church from the ground up, and we did outreach for the community. We did citywide Easter egg hunts, and you know, it was just an amazing opportunity. We had a child care, and everything had eventually come to an end because we felt, I think it was the 2019, that Easter 2019. We were just sitting there, and I really felt, you know, I had came to myself and was like, I believe we're doing the right thing. I believe it was right to start the church. I believe it was right to start the ministry. I believe it was the right thing to do, but we were doing it in the wrong place.
You know, growing up in Lynchburg, it was always such a small city. And, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever felt like this, but you ever feel like a place can't really contain you? I guess to make it make more sense, have you ever felt like you just outgrown a place? I guess that's the best way to put it. You know, living in Lynchburg all our life, we had got to a point where we felt like we had outgrown it. The ideas we had, the things we wanted to do, the vision we had for our family, we just couldn't do it there. This place that we had become comfortable with could no longer be our home. We knew that we had to move. And we didn't think initially that Atlanta was going to be the place.
And I just knew I couldn't remain in Lynchburg any longer. I didn't know where I was going. My mind was set on going to Richmond, Virginia. I was like, we're going to Richmond. You know, we 2 hours away from family. Richmond, we get ready to go live it up. We're going to establish a ministry in Richmond. And it was working out so good that, you know, we were going to go to Richmond because we had got an opportunity to put a child care facility in Charlottesville, which was an hour away from Richmond. So we was like, yeah, we're going to have the church in Richmond, and then we'll have our child care business in Charlottesville, and everything was going good. And it was a good opportunity. It was a wonderful opportunity. But as more and more as we got talking, you know, me and MaHogany talked about it, and we kind of discussed it and prayed about it, we realized, you know, that it was a good opportunity, but it wasn't a God opportunity. And I think so many people in life, they get, you know, kind of come to a crossroad because you can have a lot of opportunities. You can have a lot of good opportunities. But the question is it a God opportunity? So we came to our senses, and we had got an opportunity to come to Atlanta. And I was like, you know, she started talking to me, let's go to Atlanta. I was like, I'm not going to nobody's Atlanta. I don't want to go to Atlanta, because my mind was focused on ministry. And I was like, Atlanta has all the popular churches, popular ministry. There's no room for us in Atlanta. And in this season, we had already closed the church. I was working like 4 to 5 jobs. Oh, my Lord. I was a newspaper carrier. I would literally get up in the middle of the night every night I did it for a whole year. Didn't take off, delivering over 300 newspapers a night. I got so good, I did it in an hour and 30 minutes. We killed it. I was a transportation non-medical driver. And I mean, I was a school bus driver. I was so many things. But I knew as I stayed more and more in Lynchburg and where we were living, I knew that it was time for me to go. I couldn't stay here. And no lie, I don't really know. I know what this meant. God spoke to me and he was like, if you stay here in Lynchburg, if you stay where I've told you to leave from, if you stay, you'll starve. And I knew then it was time for me to leave. I knew. And I still didn't want to go to Atlanta. I did not want to go to Atlanta to save my life. I didn't want to go to Atlanta. And one night I was finished delivering newspapers and I was headed to Walmart. I love to go to Walmart in the middle of the night. It's the best thing in the world because nobody's out. So I was on the way to Walmart and I decided to take this shortcut. And as I was driving, I went down this shortcut and took a left on another street. I think it was, I can't remember the street in Lynchburg, but it was somewhere near Leesville. And I looked, God told me as I made the left to look up at the sign, and the street sign said, the name of the street was Atlanta.
You know, Lynchburg didn't really have that many opportunities. There wasn't that many things that you could do. And we just knew that for where we were going, we couldn't stay in Lynchburg. No matter how much we wanted to, no matter how much our family was there, we had just outgrown that place. And we knew that we had to move.
I said, oh, God playing with me. But I knew then that it was time for me, that Atlanta was the place. I knew then. And I didn't know how we were going to get there. I didn't know, we didn't know anybody down there. I didn't have a job down there. And I'm always about, as a man, I'm about money. I'm like, how is this going to come about? And God opened the opportunity. I went and got my trucker's license. And I went to begin to take classes to be a truck driver. Yes, I was a truck driver driving that 18-wheeler. And I was taking classes in Roanoke for a certain couple months. And then I began to go on the road. And that's when I got the opportunity to get a job in Georgia. So it was like in September, as soon as I got my license, it was like 2-3 days later, we packed up the house. We was like, we gotta go. So I was going on the road to go training. MaHogany was able to find somebody to stay with until my training was done. But we literally, like, as soon as I got my license, because I was struggling to get my license. I mean, I couldn't change gears. Oh, it was the hardest thing. Every time I got ready to take the test to do truck driving, I kept failing tests. But when I finally passed September of 2019, boy, we packed that house up so fast because we saw that our finances was running out. We just knew that the only place we could go, only thing that could happen and for things to get better was for us to go. And so we packed up everything. I left before they could, everything was even packed up in the house. And so she drove me out to Shippensburg, Pennsylvania to go to school, to trucking school. And off I went. And then I think like the next week they left and went to Atlanta, Georgia, and stayed with some family. And that's how we ended up in Atlanta. Who is Justin Jackson? I like to consider myself, I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor, I'm a creative. I don't like people to put me in a box. I don't like people put me in a box. When people put you in a box, it says that you can only be this. You can only be that. You can only remain in that certain area. You can only do that. You can't go no further than this limit. And I want people to know at the end of the day, Justin Jackson is more than just a pastor. He's more than just a preacher. He's more than just YouTube. I have a multiple gift.
Justin is, I like to say, a creative genius. Y'all, the way the wheels turn in his head, the way he creates ideas, the way he comes up with different plans and strategies amazes me. He's someone who isn't scared to blaze a trail alone. That's one thing I admire most about my husband. No matter how off the wall his idea could be, no matter how foreign his idea can be to some, no matter how many people don't even agree with his idea, he's willing to blaze the trail all by himself.
You know, God's given me different gifts. I want to be in real estate. I want to be, I want to own different businesses. I want to be more than just the average person. I don't want to just wake up and just have to preach. I don't just want to wake up and just have to pastor. I want to do more than the average person. I want to have my hand in a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Now, my passion, of course, is pastoring and preaching and YouTube, but I'm more than that. So that's who Justin Jackson is.
Who is MaHogany Jackson? She's a mother. She's a wife. She's an entrepreneur. She's an author. She's a model. She's someone who loves people. She has a heart for people. She's caring.
She can go up against anything. It doesn't matter what obstacle comes. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people do or don't do. She's a person that you can swing, you can knock her down, but just like Maya Angelou says, still I rise.
She's loving. She loves people. She loves her family. She loves her kids. And at the end of the day, she's someone who has a heart for people, who has a heart for women, and she's someone who is selfless. And no matter the kind of day that she's having, she's going to help you have your best day. No matter how she feels like her life is going, she's going to help you live your best life. That's who MaHogany Jackson is.
First of all, what matters most to me is really, at the end of the day, first, of course, God, but really my family. But what matters most to me is really being an amazing husband and amazing father.
What matters most to MaHogany Jackson is my family. I love my family. I love my kids. I love my husband, obviously. And home is really where my heart is. I mean, I love having the opportunity to cook for my family. I love just being able to set the tone for my family. That's one thing that we as wives and we as mothers, we have this amazing opportunity to pretty much set the tone.
A person once told me, they said, you know, you want to know the difference between a commitment and a contribution. And I said, no. I asked him, I said, what's the difference? And he said, real quick, he said, it was this chicken and this pig. They were on the way, they were walking. And they came to a sign on a grocery store, and the sign said, eggs and bacon needed. And the chicken looks to the pig and said, we should go in here and give this grocery store some eggs and bacon. And the pig looks to the chicken and says, for you, it would be a contribution, but for me, it would be total commitment. And as I grew up, I didn't have my father in my life. My father wasn't committed. My father gave me contributions. And one of the most important things to me in my life as I live on this earth is to be that amazing husband that is committed and to be that amazing father. I don't want to live a life giving contributions to my family and give commitment to the world.
That atmosphere that when you've had a long day, you walk in your home and you're just like, I'm thankful that I'm home because, I mean, the peace that's here. My wife is here. My mom is here. I take pride in creating that for our family. And that's something that matters so much to me. Another thing that matters to me is helping women. I'm so passionate about that because I know what it's like to be lost. I know what it's like to be insecure. And so it matters to me to help other women get to where they need to go. It matters to me to help them create a bridge from who they used to be and who they know that God has called them to be. Those are the things that matter most to me.
Oh, growing up, my childhood, I was something else. I will say, a lot of people say when I was 2 years old, I was walking around the house, I had a little microphone, and I was just preaching. And, they said when I came out the womb, I was preaching. And I remember growing up through my childhood, I would literally take the kitchen chairs and all them stuffed animals I used to have back in the day. And I had like a little dresser, one of them plastic ones that had the different colors, the red, yellow, green on it. and I would put it in the center, and I would set the kitchen chairs up downstairs, and then I would take the little cookout chairs, and I would set 3 chairs behind the plastic dresser, and that was my pulpit.
I have always been a talkative person, and that trait has followed me, child, for years. So growing up, I was always really smart. I was someone who excelled in their classes. I was someone that when I put my mind to something, I got it done. And that trait followed me all through elementary school, middle school. But it wasn't really until high school that I really came to know who I was.
But growing up, I stayed in church. I won't really out there. My mama didn't play no games. So my mama, she stayed on my butt, and I appreciate today because I could have turned out like my dad. I could have turned out like his dad. But I appreciate now, as I've gotten older, the lessons she taught me, and I thank her for staying on my back. I appreciate that. So growing up, my mother was in my life. We had some, as we got older and as I got older, because I was in the ministry. So me and my mother, at some point we bumped heads because I had a certain perspective of a way of living. It was hard for her sometimes to really understand me by being a preacher and being so creative. And it was hard. I will say, and this is a whole nother topic, of raising a child that's a preacher, that's a pastor, and she not, knowing what to do sometimes. So we bumped heads. I like I said, I appreciate my mother, but in some ways she was toxic growing up. But things with me and her are getting better. And but she helped me a lot to be the man that I am today.
Growing up, I didn't have both parents in the home. My mom worked so hard to raise me, but at the same time, she had to take care of our home. So that loving and supportive piece that I wanted from my mom, I didn't always get it. And it wasn't because she didn't want to give it to me. But like I said, it was in a home where my dad was absent. He wasn't there. And so my mom spent so much time working and so much time making sure that I had everything that I needed, making sure that I went to school with all the supplies I needed, all the clothes I needed, that she wasn't able to give me that loving piece that I needed. And so growing up, I really scrambled to try to find who I was. And that really just showed itself when I was in high school and I got into a series of toxic relationships. I did drugs. I did so much stuff just trying to find out who I was, what did I like. And it wasn't until later on that I was able to discover and become and find out who I really was. What do I want to be known for when I leave this earth? When I leave this earth, I want to leave empty. I want to be known as someone that when given an opportunity, I played my part and I left it all on the court. I did what I was supposed to do. I want to be known for someone who every day I woke up, I gave it my all.
I want people to know, I don't want to be just known for just being a preacher and a pastor, an amazing husband and father. I want to be known for, changing, impacting, and empowering lives.
I want to be remembered as someone that worked so hard, who didn't look for any handouts. I want to create a blueprint for how you're supposed to do this thing, even if that means I have to blaze a trail by myself, even if that means, I don't get all the support, in the moments that I felt like I needed it the most. I want to be someone who blazes a trail for other people to look back on later like, man, she did it, I can do it.
When I wake up in every day of my life and everything that I do, from my YouTube channel to, working on our church plan, getting ready to establish our church. When I get up and work on any project that I work on that God gives me, I do it because I want to see lives changed. I want to see lives impacted, and I want to see lives empowered. I want people that meet me when I get to the end of my life, I want them to say when they came in contact with me that their life was changed.
She did it, I can do it. She became it, so I can become it. That's what I want to be known for. Creating opportunities, blazing trails for other women, because it's not easy out here. But if I could be known as someone who helped someone else become who God created them to be, if I can be known as someone who helped someone else become great, then I'm good with that. Because that just makes me feel good knowing that when I did my part, I played my role, and I left empty when I left this earth.
I believe people will be able to say that he was a man that changed me, that helped me to know that there was so much more, that God had so much more for me. And that's what I want people to know, that their best days are not behind them, but their best days are ahead of them.
I started our YouTube channel back in April of 2020. YouTube was something that I knew I wanted to explore. I never thought that it would become what it is now. I never thought that our channel would grow to be what it is today. But when I started back then, I knew that there was something different about our family. We hadn't became pregnant with our second set yet. But I knew that there was something we could offer YouTube. So we started back in April of 2020, I believe.
Yeah, April 2020, it was.
And we started because we thought we were different. We thought that we could bring some stuff to the platform.
Now, be honest, when we started it, I didn't know much about YouTube. Only thing I use YouTube for, which probably a lot of people do, some of you need fixing, you go on YouTube and type in how to do this or how to do that. And so I didn't know nothing about the ins and out of YouTube. I really didn't even know about really getting paid from YouTube. I really didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about other family channels and couple channels. I really thought that was on YouTube, like movies and instructional videos. That's the only thing I knew YouTube about. So when we started it, I really wasn't too fond over it. Now, if she would have told me back then, hey, you can do this and that, you can make that. Listen, I'm all about them Benjamin. So if you tell me how to make something and show me, you better bet your butt. You better bet you. If I touch it, we're going to prosper.
Listen.
Everything I do, I can, like you said, I've been a newspaper carrier. I've been a school bus driver. Every time I did anything I've done, I did it well.
Yeah.
So you tell me how to do something, going to make some money, I'm on the way.
And you can do what you love and be yourself?
Yeah, come on.
That's a win-win.
Yeah. So we started it in April 2020.
Yeah.
And we uploaded here and there.
It wasn't consistent. The content was like all over the place. We didn't really know what we wanted to talk about, honestly.
Yeah. So we were talking about different things, doing this, doing that, doing stuff with the kids.
Yeah.
So we was all over the place. And I think when we got pregnant, she got knocked up again.
Yeah, it's him. It's him.
That was all your fault. Second pregnancy was on you.
I mean, we ain't gonna get into that, but that's when like Megan Stallion was like really talking about like the MaHogany, and so I thought I should just, but I mean, I still blame him but anyway.
Them knees got you in trouble. But anyway, it was in August that we would get ready to have our gender reveal. And I kept telling her about August, September of 2020. I was like, we need to change this name to our channel. I don't like it.
Yeah.
The Jackson family. I said, I do not like the name of this channel. And for the longest time, I kept saying, I was like, what can we name it? What can we name it?
Yeah.
And immediately God dropped in my spirit was the Jacksons of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jackson, so how you and God tell you, so you kind of just rag, you say it here and I think you should name it this. And I started telling people, and people was like, oh yeah, I like it, you should name it that. So we end up renaming the channel the Jacksons of Atlanta.
And I mean, y'all, it was just an amazing switch.
It was an amazing switch, and it fit us.
Yeah.
It fit us, and it made us stand out.
Yeah.
It really made us stand out because when you look up the Jackson family, who you usually find the famous, the Jacksons, Michael, Janet, and things like that.
Yeah.
And Jacksons are very popular last name. So we was like, every time you search Jackson, you be like, where are they at?
Right.
But when you type in the Jacksons of Atlanta, baby,
listen,
we come up. We come up. All 6 of us come up.
Yes.
All 6 of us come up.
So you really did a good job naming the channel.
Oh, I did? Thank you.
What makes our channel different from anyone else's is, for one, We got 2 sets of twins. That ain't too common.
2 sets.
2 sets.
Two
And I
sets of
mean,
twins.
our first set is only 2, and we got newborns. So I mean, that right there is one thing that makes us stand out. But amongst all the channels on YouTube, all the family channels, one thing about our channel that makes us stand out is that we are okay with being different. We're a Black, loving family of 6 that offers so many different type of content. One day you may see us doing pranks. One day you may hear us talking about marriage. You know, one day you might see us taking our kids to the aquarium. One thing hubby and I always said is that we want our channel to be like a one-stop shop where you can come get a message to motivate you for the week. You can come learn about, you know, how to maybe breastfeed or learn how to do your kids' hair. I don't know, learn something about your children and then learn something to just carry you along the journey in some way.
Yeah, and that's what we want the Jackson of Atlanta YouTube channel to be. We don't want it just to be about just the Jacksons.
Yeah.
We want those that watch it regularly and the viewers that are here now and that are coming. Mm-hmm. We want them to it be a place where, you know, not only you get to see what God is doing in our lives, mm-hmm. but we want to, by what we do and what we say, we want to see your life in some way changed, impacted, and empowered. Yeah. And it is so important. So, you know, when you come to our channel, you won't just find pranks. You won't just see Justin, Marcel, Mateo, and Milo. And you just won't see us having pranks and vlogs and stuff like that. You're gonna see us, you know, we might talk about business. We might drop some relationship on you. You know, you need to leave that joker for that king, as she says. And, you know, we might talk about family. You might see reality shows. You might see so much variety. You might see me preaching because, you know, this is where we plan to start our ministry, our church, because there's a lot of you right here in Atlanta that want to be a part of a life-changing, real relevant church, and we plan to do that right here. So the Jacksons of Atlanta are more than the Jacksons of Atlanta. Yeah. We're more than 2 twins and 1 amazing mom and 1 crazy dad. This is a family, and you are a part of that family.
What I love most about YouTube is just the fact that we are able to create a family online. I love being able to share with you guys our different routines, being able to share advice with you guys, being able to also get your feedback. I love how you can really establish a community on YouTube. That's one thing I love about our channel. We are a family on here, you know?
You know, in the comments, it shows, you know, when I go to the comments and go through the comments, I see that it's not just new people, but it's the same people. And it's good to know because, you know, we care for, you know, people and individuals, but it shows, you know, and we appreciate it so much, and we appreciate the love that people care about us as well. You know, they show up every day, good morning, and just ready to see another episode of the Jacksons of Atlanta.
I guess what I dislike most about YouTube is the negativity. You know, when you take so much time and you put so much heart into just sharing advice or maybe just sharing a peek into your life and to experience, you know, people having so much to say about it or, you know, people wanting to tear it apart. Sometimes it hurts, you know, but I always focus on the people who are loving it. I always focus on the people who are enjoying it. But I guess that's probably one of the biggest things, just the negativity.
Yeah, it's the negativity. And, you know, I would say being in the social media world, you know, as an influencer. Yeah. First of all, you know, it has its pros and it has its cons like anything. But you have to be in this job and to be and make this a career, you got to have some thick skin. Yeah. Because you got to realize everybody's not going to like you. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I had to learn was at one point in my life, I thought everybody liked Justin Jackson. Yeah. I thought everybody was for Justin Jackson. Yeah. Because I was a person, I don't like to create no confusion, no chaos. But the worst thing I did in my life was I thought everybody liked me. And you'll quickly find out once you start doing what God has called you to do, that you got some haters and you just got some people that's straight up jealous. Yeah. And they're not. Facts. And if they really look within themselves it's not really you that's the problem. It's their insecurities.
Yeah.
So being in the YouTube world, one of the things that I hate is the hate, the speech, and you know, people talking down and trying to destroy something. You know, they come with, as soon as you do come out with a good video and step out the box, you're doing it for likes and subscribers.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that foolishness, because just like a business owner and a pastor and a preacher, when they open up the doors of their church, they ain't trying to just stay average. They're not just trying to stay small. They're not just trying to stay a small business forever. When you open up your business every day, are you trying to stay small?
Right.
No. You want to continue to grow that business. So every video we post, yeah, we plan and we want to see our channel grow. Yeah, we want to see likes and subscribers. But do we wake up with the goal say, oh, we want to just see likes and subscribers? No.
Right.
Because the Jacksons of Atlanta and the purpose behind it is more than that.
Right. And we encourage you to, you know, step out the box. If you have an idea, if you have a vision, go for it. Don't let social media, don't let people, don't let your own insecurities stop you in your tracks. Because if we didn't step out the box, if we didn't embark on what we know God was telling us to do in our heart, we wouldn't be here. So step out. If you're watching this video, don't let today be another day that you sit down on yourself.
Yeah, and you got to, you know, you can't let anything stop you. You got to realize that anytime you blaze a trail, anytime you step out of the boat like Peter did, and anytime you just go out there and do something that nobody else is doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, God would never call you to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Something's always going to be different. Something's always going to be unique the way you do it. But when you do get out there on the water, when you do step out, you can't be afraid of what people say, what people think. Steve Harvey said it best.
Yeah. What do you say?
People's opinions are none of my business.
Preach.
People's opinions are none of my business. So I want to encourage you today that if you stepped out or you thinking about stepping out, step out and do you. Whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's a ministry, whether it's business, whether it's just being a mom, being a dad, whatever your brand is, step out. And when you step out, be like the giraffe. A giraffe's head sits so tall that when the turtle says something, you really even shouldn't lower your head, because what the turtle sees and the vision that the turtle sees is not the vision that you see.
Wow.
Why would you lower your head, come off your post?
Man.
Why would you step out of who you are, out of character? Argue with people in comments and argue with people and try to defend who God has called you to be. One of the best things a person told me, you ain't got to explain yourself to nobody.
Yep.
Tyrese Gibson even said, I think he said he's 44 years old. He said, I ain't got to explain myself to nobody. And that's the same thing I want to encourage you. You ain't got to explain yourself to nobody. Be that giraffe, eat off the top of them trees, and let the turtles eat from the grass.